collaborated in 2000. I have 3 daughters who they are DACA recipients. I have no knowledge about immigration first because I'm an immigrant, undocumented immigrant, and second one is because I got involved in all immigration issues in Montgomery County and also in Norristown, mainly in Norristown. Since 2011, the immigration rates came to Norristown and hurt very hard to the community, the Latino community. Since that, I was involved in local, state, and nationwide with immigrants groups and who work in the civil and human rights for immigrants. I'm a member of the Coalición Fortaleza Latina, who is a group of immigrants in Norristown, based in Norristown, who we are working to empower the community through education. Best is telling them what is the human rights. And I presented today the Welcoming Schools workshop and DACA. This is a PowerPoint given by PIC, Pennsylvania Immigration Citizenship Coalition, who we are collaborating with them and with the Sanctuary Movement to collaborate to empower the community. And I'm going to turn on the lights to see the PowerPoint better. I'm not sure. Close a little bit the door. It's better like that. If you want to get an education so that you don't have a break your back like me, nobody wants to repeat the story to our fathers doing very hard jobs, making little money, and having a life like slaves. Supporting students, this is a part of what we have, resources for refugee and immigrant students. This is why who we as a New Sanctuary Movement, Pennsylvania Immigration Citizenship Coalition, and Coalición Fortaleza Latina, we have for this kind of addressing these issues. Language access, welcoming classrooms, welcoming school and district policy, addressing discrimination and bullying, understanding trauma and unique student experiences. Undocumented students for a national school. ¿Quiénes son? Who are the undocumented students? People who enter to the USA without inspection, enter legally as a non-immigrant visa, non-immigrant with visitor visa, and overstay. But how we can apply for this category is people who came under 18 years old, but for DACA, under 15 years old. 800,000 of the undocumented youth turn 18 years each year. Imagine how much is the amount we are in USA. 65,000% who is make 54% graduate high school compared with US 84% US born peers. There is the difference, big differences. Only 5 to 2% enroll in post-secondary school. Very hard, mainly because many of our children need to work to still support our families. And also many lack of resources in the community to support these children to still working on the post-secondary school. Estimate 800 PA undocumented students graduate high school each year.
Can I say something?
Sure.
But see, in order to apply to a university, you also have to have like a social security number and those kinds of requirements. So unfortunately, there's students that are undocumented who do want to go to college. They have that desire, they have that passion, but they just don't have the necessary paperwork or requirements, and that's where the challenge is. So what happens in those situations? I mean, how can those kids get that type of support and be able to go to college?
Many universities and colleges are looking for the smartest students in these communities. But unfortunately, the other ones who don't have, not to be the smartest, because many of this, they desire to be smartest or have the same opportunity, but they couldn't. Other students now, because the law changed regarding DACA students, they can go to the university, but they need to pay for the foreign student, and this is extremely expensive. Nobody can do that. Looking for PIC have some resources, like looking for scholarships, but also sometimes they fail in scholarships because maybe scholarships are for medical
Like that particular study?
Yes, particular math, medical studies, or something just for exceptions, not for all the things. Like if someone would like to be literature teacher, actually, there is not for them.
Okay.
Another The Federal Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, who's the name, 800,000 youth receive DACA status. In PA, 5,900 DACA recipients. That is the amount for DACA. In Pennsylvania. Students who are undocumented, who have temporary lawful presence, no pathway to citizenship. DACA means avoid to be deported. If in case you encounter police officers or ICE agents. We can have the DACA students have opportunity to have a temporary social security number and work authorizations, and most states have they can apply for a driver's license. They didn't have health care, federal student financial aid, or other federal states benefits. This is the barriers for this group of communities. And so on September 5, 2017, DACA, under the Trump administration, sunsets DACA authorization. Only a few able to renew for two years ending in 2020. The line to renew ended on October 5th, 2017. Many lose DACA open expiration dates, leaving over 800 PA DACA recipients in limbo. And that is our the problems what we have now with our DACA recipients. Let me give a little bit explanation, because for DACA students, they think Obama give the DACA to us, but as a community organizer, we need to fight together to apply for some kind of benefit. As a mother and community organizer, we make rallies, we make lobby visits, we make a civil disobedience in DC to talk about what is our problematic to be undocumented and what is our dreams to still study, because many DACA students came at a very young age. I hear from someone, she came when she's 1 year old. She didn't recognize other country, use this country as her country. And others came before 15 years old. DACA is how this graphic show how DACA improve the lives of the recipients. But when DACA improve the DACA recipients' lives, also the communities are better in all different ways. educational opportunities. They have ability to work, institutional aid, private scholarships. That is well talking, private scholarships. These policies in the state and counties. Community colleges policies vary. I don't know what is PSH. Scholarship possible, Pittsburgh promise programs, PIC Toolkit. This is what I told to you, like PIC's Toolkit for undocumented students. Everybody can go to the website of page of PIC, Pennsylvania Immigration and Citizenship Coalition. Present immigration environments. Trump said we're going to deport all immigrants. The 11 million. Many people have the fear of full elimination of DACA and having no other options. Increase the deportations. More recent example, 107 people picked up by immigration last month. Fear in the immigrant community, not only for the undocumented, but also for documented youth with undocumented parents. There is the immigration problem at this time. This is worse. There is worse because there is not only 11 millions of immigrants. 6 million of these 11 millions are Mexicans. That's why Mexicans are targeting at this time in the community. And many families in Norristown, because Norristown, through all my knowledge, is the second place with more deportations in nationwide on the Obama administration. And we have a lot of families who they are still, maybe you can see as a teacher, they don't come to the parents' meetings because they feel afraid if they can give the information and you as a teacher going to share the information with ICE officials.
But you also have other groups as well besides Hispanic groups, you know, and other types of Hispanic groups as well, because you have Cubans, you also have Dominicans, you even have Cambodians and Vietnamese that are also other groups that are considered immigrant that may be facing the same problem, but it seems like there's more of a focus on the Mexican immigrant families.
But sadly, racial profiling that immigration officers did in past years they are still doing the same. We recognize we have undocumented people from all around the country, but mostly we are Mexicans, and that's why there is the racial profiling in Mexicans. But the immigration system is broken, and that's why nobody can apply. At this time, many communities, not just Mexican undocumented immigrants. Under Trump administration, many Central American people, they're going to lose TPS, who is something like DACA. And also Liberian people also lost their TPS.
Right.
And they are still undocumented here. Let me tell you something, Korean. Many people who came from Korea, who they came to USA adopted, and they didn't finish the process, they are undocumented now. But
they're not being targeted.
Exactly.
They're not being targeted.
There is
just discrimination.
There is hard issue, very hard issue to immigration.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania environment, political environment, spread the love and hate. Pennsylvania, many organizations in Pennsylvania are working hard to avoid this anti-immigrant legislation. There is now 4 Senate bills and 7 bills in the House, anti-immigrant. One of them is going to court is E-Verify. Should be, they trying to put in E-Verify on construction companies who they know there is the more work of the immigrant community. And support the higher education fairness HB 1042 in state tuition and state aid. There is like, if you can call your congressmen or politicians in your area to tell to them support this through the students who apply for this. Oh my God, this is like a trick.
This is my classroom. So
Oh yes, oh thank you. Oh,
technical difficulties. Okay. Here, right? Okay.
Oh, thank you, you are kid.
Yeah, you should. It's a. I don't know where the whole thing is. This is a room.
This room?
Leah, do you know why this isn't working? Do you know why the arrows aren't coming out?
I don't.
I don't.
Or maybe again.
Oh.
Zoom out.
To zoom out of this. No, it's the arrows aren't working.
Let's see.
Let's just. We're gonna. Okay, try again. There we go, it works. Should work now. And then just use the arrows. Yep. There we go.
Call to action. Contact your House representative of PA's education committee to support the bill. Make calls, write letters of support, schedule local office visits, connect with local immigrant organizations and community members. Like I told to you, DACA, there is we can give to applause to the Obama administration because Obama administration promised to make immigration reform in the first days of his administration in 2008. But unless he deported, he's the president who deported more than 2 million of immigrants, and most of them, they are parents of USA citizens. He destroyed many families, the actions of, and the cost of the poor one person is too much for the people who pay taxes in their communities. If you can hear about why Norristown doesn't have a lot of money for the schools, that is one of the reasons. And this is the work together, the community, the people who are suffering or having the problem. This is one way to start working together. Welcoming Schools campaign. How we can start a welcoming schools? Students and parents fear of being targeted by ICE. Concerns about bullying and discrimination. This is very usually in the schools. Keeping eyes out of K to public schools and universities. Let me tell you about our concerns bullying of the immigration. I have my grandson who is attending K school, elementary school in Kinoprussia, and when in April when the Republicans going to support Trump for the presidency, he arrived home crying, and I say, "Why are you crying?" And he say, "Oh, all the children around say, oh, you're going to be deported, you're going to be deported, Trump is coming, Trump is coming." And he said, "No, Grandma." And he's very scary, he's 9 years old. And I said, wow, that is too much for a child like that age. That is destroying the spirit of a child with a lot of dreams. And imagine this is how suffering, and he's just a citizen. And imagine how other people, this kind of bullying around the entire community, the entire nation, is very bad for everybody, not just for the undocumented people. Keeping eyes out of K-2 public schools and university. When the Trump administration starts, I hear many teachers from different places, universities, college, elementary schools. Like in some of the schools, they require to the Latino teachers to carry with them the passports, or if they are residents, the green cards, or their proof of the USA citizenship. And they said, wow, the Latino teachers. For me, it's unbelievable when I hear these issues in the universities. I said, it's unbelievable. And Temple University, who is one of the schools, the universities who start this program, the welcoming schools, they try to organize the school because everybody is afraid to how Trump administration is coming under undocumented families, but also from undocumented students. The administration start to say, we don't know, we don't want to share how or who is undocumented or non-documented, because you're a teacher, you don't want to ask to your students, you're undocumented or who is undocumented, but they're going to use just the profile racial to do these things, and that's why they say, no, we can start these things, and we can make how we can start the welcoming schools. We can protect students, parents, and employee information from ICE. How we can do this? Let me record my notes. Yes, the welcoming schools are doing by Temple and the Centro de Justicia Social. They create this campaign, and they would like to make these things, how to protect the communities and how to educate teachers through what they can do and how they can talk to the community, to the administration, through the juntas escolares. I don't know who can help me with how do you call in las juntas escolares?
School meetings.
But es como si fueran los padres de familia que vienen a hablar con los maestros.
PTSO, like a PTO?
Ajá.
You're talking about a parent-teacher organization?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of power, but also your parents or as parents, you can invite them how they can engage and start to make again the bridge.
But I think in those conversations, you should also have the students, like at our high school in Canada, we have a PTSO as opposed to PTO that involves parents, teachers, students, as well as the administration. So it's always good to have the students involved to get their perspective and their input as well, as opposed to just parents and teachers. Ultimately, it's about the student anyway. So they should also be involved in those conversations.
But the main reason, many people, the system target to us to say, you are illegal. And when the person undocumented asks me, I think, oh, I'm illegal, that they try to avoid to me to fight for my rights. As a human being, I have rights. And that is not my fault. I decide to cross the border because I never want to leave my children. I don't want to never leave my family. I don't want never leave my house. But it's a big problematic that causing not just for myself, because you can hear undocumented immigrants came from all around the world. And there is no use for the problematic for Mexico through USA, because the undocumented immigrants around the world, there is 300,000 of people, the same amount of people living in USA. And that's why we need to talk, have information through the politicians. Somebody is making these kiosks in the communities. I want to give the example from Mexico, because I'm from Mexico. In NAFTA, when NAFTA entered in 1994, many people left the rural areas to looking for money, because there's a big changes, economic changes and crisis. And after that, many people cross the border. There is 6,000 undocumented Mexicans cross the border. And in that time, many companies, monopolies, corporations came to Mexico and start building many companies. But the low wages are so low. Imagine $1 for a day. $1 for a day. There is nothing, and that's why people need to migrate to looking for a better lives. And the politician or many people target us. Why you cross the border? Go back to your country. Let me ask, how many people know about the history of USA? Why European people came to USA? It's the same story. And we need to have the information and know information to tell to them. There is not my fault, and there is. If the problem is from many people from different places, is something wrong in the economics. Protecting students at your schools. Family educational rights is a federal law to protect the privacy of student educational records. Maybe that as a teacher you can know that law.
Yes.
Welcoming schools adopt policies to protect immigrant and refugees members of the community. Maybe you don't know about if your student is undocumented or not. Because when parents go into the administration, the only administration know about that. But I also have a bad experience in Upper Merion when I transferred my children from Norriston to Kinopurusha. The person in the administration saw my passport, and she was looking for the cell on the passport, and I didn't get. And she said, where is the cell of your passport? She said, I don't have. And she said, I'm going to call immigration. It was on 2001, and I didn't know about that. And I was really scary. I take my papers and go back to my house, and I was hiding from, from ICE, because I don't want to go back to the school district. And I didn't know, because I crossed the border in 2000. In 2001, I put in the school and my children. And it is very bad to know that how we can protect our students. That's why we can build confidence about what is the fears. Sometimes you can see easily because their students are in low grades of school, or the fears start making them feel sick. There is a lot of emotional issues like the students have, and also the family can the confidence to talk to you about, I have this problem, I want to tell what's going on. But that's why we can empower the community. In Norristown there is Aclamo, there is Secate, there is Coalición Fortaleza Latina, who are the main organizations who are working with the immigrant community. And they have a lot of programs, like we can empower the community to make, to work together with the schools to make these things possible. Sensitive locations, places where ICE agents are refrained from enforcement actions, school, hospitals, places of worship, funerals, and weddings, and public demonstrations. In Norristown, let me tell you, ICE commonly is on the streets, or outside of the stores, from different shops, like a barber shop, when the most boys or men go to there. We never hear about the schools, but I hope you can, you as a teacher, you can enjoy or talk about what happened in migration. When I put in my children in 2001 in Norristown, there is just a few people who are Latino, and when I arrived many years ago today, oh my God, I see the big differences, the big growing Latino community in Norristown. I'm so excited to see that. Easy to use welcoming a school toolkit, empower the community to create change in school, promote action steps to protect student and parents' rights, show teachers, school administrators and school board members how they can help, give voice to parent, student and worker concerns. Sometimes, also students, parents, but also workers are or having concerns. Discussion questions. When did undocumented issues become relevant to you? How are you supporting undocumented students? Policy on inclusion, welcoming schools policy, and admissions put in category of international students, financial aid and scholarship support groups, and on schools present atmosphere, educating staff from people at the front desk to administration, admissions to financial aid, to professors, political action. What more we can do? I hear you came from Kenneth Square, right? You have more experience, I guess, in Latino issues.
We have a lot of experience there because of the population that we serve.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very unique as well because the majority, some of our schools have a very large population of Latinos. As a matter of fact, our kindergarten center that feeds into the 4 elementary is like 75% Latino. Even the high school where I'm a vice principal, we have at least 38% of our students who are also Latino. The majority obviously being Mexican because of the mushroom industry that exists. And it's not only just Kenneth Square, because you also have Avon Grove, you have Oxford, Guerrero, you have some other districts in other areas where there's a large amount of Hispanic students that are brought into the community because of the mushroom industry. And I remember a long time ago, around 1979, 1980, when I graduated from college, and I was a drug and alcohol counselor in Westchester, and I would go to Kennett to serve the community because it was just men that were working in the field, and there was a lot of drinking, or they wouldn't really save their money right. They would put their checks or their cash, and sometimes people would steal it. So there were issues there, and I would go out there to support them, work with them, give them some education, because I was working with the migrant education program as well as being a drug and alcohol counselor. And during that time, you didn't see women or children, you just saw the men. And within that time, you're looking, 20-something years later, well, no, actually more than that. I think it's old, I don't know how many years go by, but you see now businesses. You see even a gentleman who owns his own mushroom factory and field where he's hiring people. And then you see the women as well that also have important positions in businesses, whether it's una panaderia or, where they, do hair. And I mean, you have women that also own florist, shops. They're like, now the economy that exists in Kennett is also generated, and much to the credit of the Mexican population that came together and has a very strong power base. But you still have discrimination. We're not perfect like anywhere else. And you're still going to have, situations and fear right now, especially with the current, I don't want to say president, but person that was voted in that position. You can record that, by the way. But, it's still a struggle. There's still una batalla. We still have to, si se puede.
Yes,
like Dolores Huerta said in her struggle. And I just think that we just gotta have faith and that things are gonna get better. But now, when you say welcoming schools policy, and I'm looking at that, what exactly is that? Is that like some kind of initiative in the district where they have to put in place?
Yes, the things like you, I told to you, like, we can share our experience as in different ways. For example, in services, during the services for teachers, they can give the opportunity to bring like teacher. Your name, please?
Well,
Your name?
My name is Ray Fernandez. Ray.
Ray Fernandez.
Yeah.
Like, we can bring that, or parents to your in services, community organizations to bring. Everybody have the problem, but we can avoid the problem. I told you, I thought when I came to this district many years ago, and I see, wow, how important is the work as a community organizer to make the way, better way for the future. If we take care of these children, we become all, and what society we decide to have when we are become old? People who hate us, who don't take care about us, or people who take care about us because we have a good work for them. And that's why for this is extremely different. I can give the information to the program about welcoming schools is giving the information and to try. We can change policies or laws. When something is wrong, we need to fight or borrow for that changes, because in the schools, hospitals, churches are like sanctuary places. Like ICE can go to the use if they have a, what do you say, a order, but judge order, not use a warrant. A judge order, signed by judge, but they should be still having places like it's not. They are not. This is Maria Sotomayor. Is the director of Immigration, Pennsylvania Immigration and Citizenship Coalition, who is the organization who provides these materials, and there is the things like we can share about. If you have any questions, please let me know, or we can share many things. I would like to hear something from the young.
Hi, my name is Randy. My friend, so I'm a senior this year. My friend Jackie moved here from Acapulco in Mexico when she was 5. She grew up in Norristown. Last year she switched over to a soccer academy in Lansdale. She went there and she ended up getting a full ride to Villanova University to play for their soccer team. But in the fall of last year, when all the things were happening with DACA and it was suspended, her grades got frozen and she had to drop out of school. And then and she was trying to work here and things like that, but it didn't work out. Most of her family is in Mexico, so she moved back because her opportunity, like, you know, she got her opportunity and then it was kind of like ruined for her. And she and it's not good there and she doesn't like it and she wants to come back, but it's just hard to do. And you're talking about welcoming schools policy and things like that for like K through 12 and public schools, and you're talking about how Temple is trying to protect their students. So I was just wondering how organizations like that work with colleges to protect older DACA recipients.
Let me explain you. Like for example, Temple have if you can approach to the Latino clubs, or sometimes my daughter actually is a DACA recipient from Temple University. She studied in Temple University. You can approach her about how they can work in Temple University. Unfortunately, I guess your friend came back this time Acapulco is in Guerrero State, who recently in 2016, 43 students disappeared from Ayotzinapa, Guerrero. There is the place who is the worst, Guerrero, Oaxaca, Michoacan. There are the worst states of violence in Mexico. Maybe she can apply for political asylum. Depends. I'm not an attorney. Depends how her family is suffering from the violence. I know it's desperate. I hear from many people from Guerrero who are, how is the conditions they are living with the violence, for the state violence. And I can give you the information on my DORA and also from other groups to make connections, how they can do. Also, I'm working with Haverford, Bryn Mawr colleges. There is a professor from sociology who she have a group of students who, I think the name of the group, who are empowered DACA recipients in Bryn Mawr. And in Haverford there is another group who are empowering and supporting and also giving the opportunity to how they can build relations with students in Haverford College. I have another teacher, I know another teacher from Swarthmore College who is a teacher, I forget what kind of, but he's also working in Latino issues. I guess that is the only way can do something, because it's very hard. Sometimes the administrations want to avoid these things. It depends. If the administration try to approach the issue, they guess, oh, they want to do something about it. And I can share my business cards. And we can be in contact. Everybody can be in contact. I would like the DACA recipients from Norris Towns, organized by yourselves, and organize your friends who are DACA recipients, and we can make a great group with us and working. I told to them, as an immigrant, I don't want to stay here because I want to live in freedom. And in this place, I have food, I have clothes, but I don't have the freedom every human decides. And also, this is a human right to live with that freedom and with the happiness as we decide. I'm agreed to Trump if he wants to build the wall, but he should be remembered. When the Europeans came, they make a genocide to the Native Americans. They bring slaves from the African communities in Africa. And there is like a power and people, like all the people should be down the steps of the power. And we need to do something together. Everybody is hurting, everybody is suffering from the economic things about this kind of globalizations, globalization that they can do. I want out from my country all the monopolies, all the things, and this is not just from my country, this is also from all Latin America. Like, let me tell you, many corporations of mine have the un cuarto de territorio de México, ¿cómo se dice?
25% of Mexican territories.
And the corporations are from USA and Canada and China. That things make people migrate from every place. And we are still victimizing people who are victims of the system. And we need to stop and doing something. That's why I invite everybody, organize by yourselves. organize and speak up about what is the problematic. And never be afraid about what you are. And also still speak up about what's going on. We need to stay together and empower ourselves in our communities. Many people say, oh, your organization is in Philly, I can go to the meetings over there. Oh, I can go to the rally. Or we can do everything in our lives, in our communities, with the group of your people. Maybe if you can meet in all the DACA students, not using the school. If the school don't permit in that policy, we can meet in a restaurant. I see it in the backs of the T-shirt. There is many restaurants who are supporting this Diversity Day, and maybe they also support the community because I'm working with them too, and you can meet over there, and you can start thinking about, I have a problem. What solutions we can do together as a community members? That is my answer to your question. Oh, this is an hour.